Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, Anita Finley.
Okay, I support life. Everyone should support life. There's whole body donation, and that's for medical research and training. And my husband and I are both a part of this because we believe in it so much. And I'd probably drive some people crazy because I don't know, we could be having dinner and all of a sudden I'll say, hey, by the way, what are your funeral plans? And they look at me like I'm crazy, but I you never know when you're going to die. We've had some emergencies lately, and I want them to get on the program here. So Melinda Ellsworth, of course, is our wonderful guest. She's always ready, raring to go, and she is the Director of Donor Services. Aren't you a Vice President now?
That's correct, yes.
Vice President of Donor Services, right? Okay, and
yes.
You have a guest also, but you're calling in from Phoenix, Arizona. So what's it like in Phoenix? Is it hot as it is here?
It's terrible. We have an excessive heat warning today, actually. It's over 110.
Oh, my heavens. I heard that in the Middle East it was at 135. And I could think
really
about
bad.
those women with those burqas on and what that must be like. I think some of them were watering themselves down. But, come to Florida. It's only 95.
We should.
Okay, so, Melinda, you love what you do so much. Why don't you tell people exactly what you do?
Sure. I work for Science Care, and this is a way for people to give back and leave a lasting legacy through medical research and education. It's body donation. And this is a way that we can donate our body, our entire body, to science and help medical researchers, educators, develop new treatments and train doctors and surgeons. The goal of all of the work that our clients are utilizing human tissue for is to improve patient care today and in the future. So Science Care is really the link between people like you or I that want to donate and make a difference in the world and those researchers and doctors, educators that need human tissue to do their very, very important work. The beauty of the program, besides the legacy and giving back and really impacting humanity for generations to come, is that the program is completely cost-free. It's free for the donor, it's free for the next of kin at the time of passing and donation, and it includes cremation. So the beauty of this is that nearly everyone will qualify, and we'll have Katrina Hernandez, our Family Services Manager, on the line here in just a moment to talk more about that. But nearly everyone will qualify. Upon acceptance, there is no cost, and that includes the transportation, the cremation, the processing of the death certificates, and the return of cremated remains quickly. We return them in 3 to 5 weeks. So this alone can be a godsend in times of financial need, or especially when a death is sudden or tragic and there are no plans. So that's really sort of the program in a nutshell. What I'd like to do, though, at this point is have Katrina Hernandez talk to us a little bit more about the process, who can donate, how it works, how the process works, and give you a little bit more detail about that. Katrina?
Yes, and good afternoon.
Thank you very much. Me. Yeah, thank you for being on with us. And one thing I see, though, and I can address both of you, when you say how the process works, tips specifically for Florida residents, is it different for other states?
It can be different in other states, and I'll get to that. That's when it comes to the consenting for both the cremation and donation. So the legal consent parties are different and can vary state to state.
Okay.
So I'll go ahead and tell you about the process. The process is simple. Upon being notified of the passing, a family services professional will complete a brief medical pre-screening to determine suitability. This is a short series of medical questions: donor's height, weight, questions related to contagious disease, place of passing, etc. The process on average takes about 5 to 7 minutes. And keep in mind, nearly everyone will qualify, including people with cancer, heart disease, arthritis, or diabetes. From here, we coordinate the consent determining who the legal consenter will be for both cremation and donation, and getting those consents to the appropriate party. It's all made easy through electronic communication, so you don't have to hassle with mail, fax, scanning of the required documents. It's actually great for long-distance relatives. Not every family has, donors that are near to them. So having that electronic, communication system makes it really easy for all parties to coordinate when it comes to the consenting.
Yeah, when you
concern I
was going to just add to what you said, that death certificates and somebody's mourning, and now everybody needs this or that before they can get the body or do this. And I know that I've talked to Melinda before about it, and you make it so easy, don't you?
We absolutely do. Through the electronic system, you can actually electronically sign for it by just entering the text. And you can also do that from your smartphone. A lot of families today are moving, to their iPads or iPhones, any type of smartphone. So it is you are capable of doing that online as well. So that definitely makes it easy.
Okay.
One concern I actually hear in the community a lot in Florida is, who can consent for me? I have no family. Each family dynamic is different. So there's actually two options for you, and one that is actually unique to Florida. So the first option is to self-consent to the process prior to passing. So you can go ahead and send in your consents and get everything started. So at the time of passing, it kind of takes off that burden or stress of the process for your loved ones. Now, the second option is having an adult close personal friend or a designated health surrogate. So that is what is unique to Florida. So now, if you don't have families, they also provide that option of having that adult close personal friend. Sometimes that's just a neighbor or a friend of yours in the care home. So it kind of covers every family dynamic. We also have the HOPE program. So that's a guarantee for hospice patients or terminally ill. So it's a pre-screening for those that are under hospice care or have a terminal illness. It allows the family to know in advance if we are able to proceed with donation. And it also makes the call to science care at the time of passing much shorter. And one exciting change that I wanted to let everyone know that we made very recent was a one point of contact service structure. So instead of calling an 800 number after rolling in our program and having to speak to multiple parties, you will have one donor service coordinator that is dedicated to you through the duration of the donation process. Families really appreciate this approach, and we respect the sensitive nature in what we do. So you're really able to establish that relationship with your donor services coordinator. They know your family dynamic. They know kind of what's going on with you, and you can kind of, lend yourself to them and them in return, and being able to take care of everything that needs to be taken care of. So we can offer that very simple, as seamless as a process as we can.
Katrina,
so
that is excellent. I'm very glad to hear that. Is that new?
It is very new. We actually, I would say about last month is when we started going towards this process, so it is actually in effect now. And we hear a lot of great feedback from it. A lot of families say it's so great that every time I call, Tim answers the phone, or, whoever their contact is, and having a direct line. So it's definitely made, we're always looking for areas of opportunity to improve service, make the process easier. So that's just, another reflection of our efforts.
Yeah, that's
Katrina,
terrific.
I'd like to jump in on that, is that there's a team, and your contact, your family services coordinator, is part of a team that covers Florida, for example. So they know the ins and outs of Florida. They know the ins and outs of Florida law, POAs, consents. They're really in tune with what they need in order to make the donation successful in Florida. So that's another added benefit, is you get that deep expertise in your area of the country. So as we talked to your listeners before, we have a donation center local in Coral Springs But our family services group, they're a 24/7 operation, which Katrina manages, and they're here in Phoenix. So when you call that toll-free number, you're calling Phoenix, but that team you're talking to is really dedicated and expert on Florida and managing that process for Florida.
So my question about that is, do I need to have that now, that person, or do I wait till something happens? Do I have
No, you don't need to have that relationship now. It's at the time of passing or hope when they call in to start the process. That's when we build that relationship. And from that point on, that coordinator will own that relationship with that family and that process.
That's brilliant. I am so happy to hear that. That's just fantastic. So, in essence now, when someone, well, let's just give some people some numbers. This is really important to call. More information, just do it. I have to just tell you, it's the best thing you could ever do. It's 1-800-417-3747. 1-800-417-3747. It's 24-hour support. So as Melinda said, many times things happen as in an emergency. I mean, you don't even expect it. But the thing to do is to have this ready. And my other question about this, and Melinda or Katrina, we have all our documents with our elder law attorney. Should they have this information with them also, science care, and that we've joined in and all that?
You are so organized.
I've been talking to you for a long time.
Yeah, if you do have an elder law attorney, I would absolutely, and they're keeping all of your important paperwork, absolutely they should have this information. When you register with the program, so for example, go on our website or call in and register, like you or I, we're healthy, but we want to say, yeah, we want to be part of this program. We register with the program. We'll send you the ID cards and information. So I highly recommend you keep that with your attorney. You keep some at home in your personal important paperwork. You keep it with your next of kin, your children, your spouse, so they know what you want and they can execute that at the time of need, because those are the people who are going to be making the call to science care.
I'll tell you why it's important. Lately, I have been reading about the boomer children fighting over what their parents should be doing at their death. Now, it's okay that they can talk, but once the parent dies, now the kids are fighting. No, I don't want them. I want to do this. We should send them here. So that's why I was thinking about the lawyer. There needs to be something said that those kids don't get a choice.
Oh, that's an interesting point. Yeah, because, although we want to honor the wishes of the donor, what they wanted, it does come down to the next of kin consenting, if there is no self-consent. And if those next of kin don't consent to it, we obviously do not proceed. So if for any reason you feel that your next of kin may not agree with your wishes, may not honor your wishes, absolutely I would get that information in the hands of your attorney. I would self-consent and get that on record with Science Care so that, someone you trust will honor your wishes and give someone, your friend, your attorney, the information to call us at time of death to start the process.
Yeah, I'm sure you've heard of that.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. Like Katrina said, every family dynamic is unique. We've had every dynamic you could possibly imagine, and we learn new things every day. So, yeah, but the bottom line is the most important thing that I have seen over and over and over again is talk to your loved ones. Tell them what you want. People don't want to have this conversation. I get that. But think about this as such a give. You are giving yourself to medical research, to future generations, to the health and well-being of your grandkids. That's a wonderful conversation to have. That's a great way to start that conversation and say, this is important to me. I would like for you to honor my wishes on this.
And again, Melinda, I have to thank you for making the introduction to Dr. Mash. I mean, she is amazing, and she's going to be one of our speakers, I think I told you, at our Cure Symposium.
Yeah.
That's
going to be fabulous.
That's a perfect example of tissue, brain tissue.
Absolutely, yes. Brain tissue. So our donors, I wanted to share a couple of recent examples of how they're helping with medical research so people can really get that full circle story of what this means. And Dr. Mash's work with the Brain Bank in Miami is a prime example, right? Brain tissue going to help learn more, develop more treatments and treatment options for Alzheimer's, neurological diseases, right? Alzheimer's, ALS, Parkinson's, right? And just recently, though, we've had a lot of heart disease types of things. And your listeners and probably all know that heart disease is the number one killer in the U.S. So this is very serious, important, impacting stuff. And a recent project we had is in which practicing physicians were learning how to identify earlier calcified arteries and get the training for proper stent implantation, right, to prevent a crisis. And we had another project just recently in the last month in which they are targeting research on the development of RNA profiling of internal organs. This is to help find a cure for cancer patients. And two of the top disease-related killers in the U.S., and our donors are helping every single month with multiple projects. And when someone donates to the program, they don't just help one medical research project. On average, every single donor through the Science Care program will support 5 different medical research and training opportunities.
Huh.
So it's a huge benefit, and we as a company try to really focus on that as a driver for us. We want to honor the gift. It's such a generous gift. We want to maximize that gift as much as possible.
Okay, so this is your big moment. While you're talking, I just thought of something. I thought about it for myself, and now, because we who join with you so much want to make a difference, and we want to live on in perpetuity. We've talked about that, and be immortal in some way. What if you had permission from everyone before they die that when they pass away, you could then start to use their picture in your advertising, and you could have 20, you could have 1,000 faces.
Wow, we have 85,000 people on the registry. Can you imagine that?
No, but not have died.
That's a brilliant idea.
No, but they haven't died yet, right?
No.
Okay,
no,
I'm talking about the ones who died. Let's talk about the ones who died. Okay. All right. So you could have like the ad that you run right now. I mean, you run the ad.
That's a great idea.
I think you could put pictures.
Gave back.
That's right. And all these people are there living still in some way. I think their family members would love this, and they would. Anyway, use it in marketing, but I came up with this idea just now when you were talking. I said, yeah, put my picture there when I die. Put my husband's picture
love
there.
it.
I
I'm
do
making
too.
A note because that's the important thing. People need to understand that these are real people, just like you, just like your neighbor, just like your friend,
right,
who are making such a huge, generous gift.
Right, and we do have donor families that do submit photos and share a great story about their loved one. So if you visit our website at www.sciencecare.com, you can see those stories, and it definitely, strikes great emotion, and you can see also not only, a little bit about that donor themselves, but what this whole process meant to their family.
Katrina, that's great. So where did you find Katrina, Melinda?
Oh, she was a gem. She's a gem, yeah.
Sounds like it.
Katrina's only been with us for a short while, like a year and a half. How long, Katrina?
Yep, about a year and a half.
Yeah, and she has really gotten us out of the box on how we engage with our donor families, that entire process after passing. I mean, we don't simply just process the donor through the program. We try to build a relationship with the family. And we want to provide information to them, a legacy for them, something to hold on to, that is meaningful. And she's really spearheaded a lot of key initiatives for us to really build deeper relationships. Because, most of the people who come to our program are referrals from friends and family. So people who go through the program have a great experience, are surprised by the experience that they have with the Science Care program, and they tell 10 or 20 people, and those people sign up. That's a really important relationship for us to help us to grow this, because, frankly, we need more donors. And that's one of the things that I was going to talk to you about today. It's not just Science Care needing more donors. The medical community needs more donors. The rate of technological advancements today is insane. It is so fast. They're coming out with new devices every day, new drug therapies every day, and they can't do this without testing, without training surgeons on cadaveric tissue. And, most people do not make that connection. They don't make the connection that when they go into a hospital to have a procedure, that someone who has passed has to have donated for that surgeon to learn, for that development, that device, that treatment option to become available.
Well, that's really good.
Yeah.
That's why we have you do this show. I know people have listened to it. I know hopefully they have gone ahead and called you, and I'm going to give you your phone number again. It's 800-417-3747, 1-800-417-3747, 24 hours a day. Go to their website. As Katrina said, you'll see a lot of those pictures of people who, the families have want you to know that they made the difference. And that's sciencecare.com, sciencecare.com. And the program does work well with the VA death benefits and funeral honors. But I wanted to talk about funeral homes because I did meet some people at our expo who had funeral homes, and I did share what you all do, and they kind of looked at me, and I said, and they're going to use you. So get in touch with them, right?
Yeah. So, we are a donation center. We're not a funeral establishment. We're not a crematory, although cremation is intrinsic to this process. We must cremate the tissue that's not utilized for medical research, and therefore return it to the family. That's not us. So we have to outsource that locally to the Florida area, to vendors in that area. We have partners that are funeral homes, crematories. They help us to process death certificates. They help us to transport the donors to our care and all of that type of thing. And we partner with funeral homes in the area because there are so many people who need a low or no-cost option. This is a great service that we can provide to the community. And funeral homes, many funeral homes have really enjoyed being able to offer this as a service to their community. And they can talk about this as an option for their families. They still maintain the relationship with the family. They still help them do a memorial service and perhaps purchase memorial product and that type of thing. But they can do donation. So it's a brilliant relationship that we love working with the funeral homes and crematories in Florida. It really works out well.
Well, so how does this work if, let's say, we start working with the tissue bank at the University of Miami, and we want specifically our body to be able to be used there? Do we have to tell that to someone?
Yeah, you need to tell that to someone, tell that to Science Care, tell that to your friends and family, but we will coordinate all that activity. So the brain bank or the organ transplant organization, whoever else you want to donate to, they typically need to go first because their timelines are very, very tight, whereas Science Care has a much broader time range that we can work in. So we'll wait until their work is done. They've procured the brain tissue that they need to procure and whatever they need to do, and then the rest of that body will come into the Science Care facility, and we'll do our work. And we do work locally across, we're a nationwide program, so we work across the country with brain banks, eye banks, organ transplant organizations, so we can coordinate that.
I'm going to tell you something. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but I just thought about it. We just moved our office from Boynton back to Boca, and I was talking about the storage place that we had to go in, and you know where this is going. And we had to talk to them about getting a little space. And I said, so what do people store? She said, well, we actually had a woman, an elder lady, who for 10 years kept this, it was an automatic deduction, from her bank account, and she may have died, and they had to go in there. They found her husband in some sort of a box, and I guess he was, I don't know how they kept him frozen. I have no more idea. Can you imagine that? Have you ever heard of that?
Like a cryo-freezing type of process?
I think so, yep. I don't know how they did that. How could they have kept it? It was a cold storage or something? I have no idea what they did, but I said, 10 years?
Wow.
Anyway, I had to tell you that because I was there saying.
That's amazing.
It's a preposterous.
But I know that's a funny story, but seriously, there are so many options for people at end of life, and there are so many non-traditional options, and the public is becoming much more aware and intrigued by non-traditional options. There are much less people going through a traditional funeral and burial than there were 20 years ago. And that is not changing. That will continue to go down that path. Cremation is growing at an impressive rate. We'll be at 50% cremation rate across the country, I would say, in the next 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so our message is, look, if you are considering cremation, if you are considering this as your final option, why not give back first? Why not look at this option as a way to leave a legacy, still have the cremation, but it's completely no cost to your family as well?
Yeah, no, you're right. It seems like such a natural, doesn't it? We just have to figure out how we get people to make that phone call. As you said, people don't want to really talk about that, but everyone has someone in their family that has died unexpectedly, and nobody knows what to do, especially the person mourning. Isn't it better to just say, this is what we want to do? And the fact that they then will be held, I think it does make them immortal, as I said. So I think people do need to call that 1-800-417-3747, and it's open 24 hours a day. And tell everyone what you send them again.
We will send you, upon registration, you'll get a welcome letter. You'll get 4 identification cards with your name on it so that you can keep one in your wallet, keep one with your important papers, send one to your family members. And we will keep in contact with you regularly so you can learn more about the medical research that's happening and stay in touch with our community.
Yep, that's what you're going to be able to do. Now, do you have seminars that you run here in South Florida at all about this? What else do you do?
We do have someone who covers the Florida market, and she goes out periodically and talks specifically to organizations where people are near end of life. So she's talking to hospice, hospital, nursing homes, assisted living groups, senior groups, and they're talking about this in large groups to really educate people en masse. And that's one way that we target our audience. But the other way is online. We have videos. We have seminars online about how to go through the program. We have testimonials. We have stories. We have medical research stories and articles. So we are reaching out and registering hundreds of people every month in Florida through our online outreach.
Thank you so much, Melinda, and thank you very much, Katrina. Glad to have met you over the radio waves, and we will talk to you again. And thank you so much, Melinda, for taking the time and doing this. Okay, so we'll be.
Thank you.
Goodbye, Katrina.
Goodbye.